what it is you were talking about.
I'm recalling now. I don't think that they were on the app. You can't get them online, only in the store.
Yeah, I don't see them.
They're cool. They're actually really nice looking.
It's an investment in garbage.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of 5 Idiots Talking Toys. I'm Shane and I'm here with the boys. Going to bring them in a minute. Please subscribe to the channel. We appreciate it. Thanks very much for watching our podcast here on YouTube, or maybe you're listening on your favorite podcast app. We appreciate that as well. We are here with a kind of a fun episode. It's topical. We are recently past the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi. So we have some fun conversation coming up for that. We've all gone and seen the movie in the movie theaters. We've seen it a zillion times. We know it inside and out, but it is fun to have that movie theater experience again. I think a lot of our viewers did as well, and they got to have the experience of bringing their kids for the first time to see it in the movie theaters. So that's fun. We saw a lot of people posting pictures of that. Let's bring the guys in now for our Return of the Jedi episode. What's up, fellas?
How's it going?
Hey.
Hey, Shane.
Hey.
Hi. Thanks for having us, Charles.
Hi, Brandon's mustache.
Oh, his stash is still here.
Hello. So, guys, 40 years since Return of the Jedi was in the theaters. We're a pretty good mix of ages because that hit a couple of us at the right time, and a couple of us were just a tad young, right?
I wasn't even born yet.
Oh, Jesus.
I was born
Actually,
4 months after the movie.
Yeah.
You're in July, Brandon, right?
80 June. June. It was 82 when it came out?
83. May of 83.
I was already, I was less than a year old.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, me too.
Okay.
You're like 42.
Brandon,
aren't you like 42, Brandon?
No, Brandon is 1 month older than me.
Oh.
40.
So he turns 41 this June, and I turn 41 in July.
Yeah.
How old is your mustache? 7 hours?
7 hours.
5 hours.
I was 4 going on 5 when it came out in the theater. My birthday's in August and it came out in May. I was 4 at the time. And it's just one of the best memories I have is from childhood.
You saw it in the theater?
I did. I saw it in the theater. My grandparents had a small house out in Long Island in the Hamptons. Before the Hamptons were anything at the time. It was like a fisherman's town when my grandfather bought the house. Yeah. So we'd go out there. It was this little house, 2 bedrooms, and we'd go stay for the weekend with them. And we were out there, and my sister was like a baby, and my sister stayed with my grandparents, and my parents said it was nighttime. So this made no sense, but I went along with it. They said, come on, we're going to go down into town and go to the bookstore, which it was fun to go to the bookstore there. They had lots of kids' books and stuff. And so I go, okay. And so they, I was going special with just the 2 of them. And right next to the bookstore was the town movie theater. And you can imagine it's a small town. It was like a 2-screen movie theater. Yeah. But the line was like down the block. There was like lights flashing, which was very unusual for, a little Hamptons town movie theater. And it was a big deal. I don't remember, what weekend it was. I'm not saying it was opening weekend, but all of a sudden I was at the movie theater and they revealed we're going in to see Return of the Jedi, and I, lost my mind. So it was just a great memory to go in there. 4. I was a couple. It was.
There's no way you remember that.
I was going to say,
100%.
Remember all this?
100. I'm telling you the story.
I'm amazed.
It's not humanly possible for you to remember at age 4.
Of course it is.
No, it's not.
I don't remember anything at 4.
No.
So I wasn't 5 until
Chris
August.
Doesn't remember anything from last week.
No.
It was 3 months, 2-3 months before I turned 5.
Can Shane remember stuff when he was 4 years old? Absolutely not. There you go.
I do remember sitting in the theater and watching the movie, but that memory of getting to the theater and being surprised is obviously what sticks. I do remember seeing the movie and I remember, being freaked, so excited about the Ewoks and the whole Jabba scene is my favorite, of course. But I remember seeing these new characters and being really excited. But that's kind of where the memory is. It's kind of getting there and seeing new characters.
Did you eat popcorn during this movie?
I don't remember that.
Why not?
Of course, I'm sure I did, but it's not like it's the most vivid memory
not
for
to get
2 hours. But
psychological with you, but you probably remember what your family said happened. Like you were probably like 7 or 8, and they told you, remember when you were 4, you went to see Star Wars at the Hamptons, and the line was so long, and then like you were 9 and 10, and you're like, oh yeah, I remember the line was long. There's no way when you were 4 you remember that.
I do. I promise you that I have. I am vividly recalling it right now. I remember standing in the living room and my mom explaining that my baby sister was staying home, and we would go there for the weekend. We would never go out at night because there wasn't nightlife there. There wasn't any there was no restaurants even open at night.
Yeah.
So we never left the house after dark. We went to the beach during the day. We went into town to get ice cream during the day. So I remember it being weird that we were going into town at nighttime. So
2 things there. Are you mad that your parents lied to you?
Oh, about the books? No.
Shame on them. And the second thing is nowadays, I think it's pretty neat that we can each take our children to the movie to see it because now I notice on Facebook a lot of people are posting pictures of them and their kid next to the Return of the Jedi poster and stuff like that. And now people have pictures of, them at the movie theater. And, I took a picture, me and my son and my daughter's watching it. My brother-in-law, everybody went to the movie theater on Friday night and we took pictures and stuff like that. So I think it's pretty cool that my son's around the same age, a little bit younger than you were when you saw it for the first time, but at least we have pictures now where he can be like, oh yeah, this is when we went to go see Return of the Jedi and stuff like that. So now I think it's pretty cool nowadays that we can document those things and take pictures of those family events.
I don't think Shane really remembers that. I think his parents are just gaslighting him personally. So
there's Shane's dad with Shane at the bookstore.
So that's me and my kids today. We actually saw it today at about 3:00. This was so weird. There was one poster in the entire 16 screen AMC theater, one poster, and it was behind the cash register or, where you buy the tickets, the ticket counter. So I had to get somebody to take our picture, and I don't know if it's not coming through, but the poster is behind the counter there. Yeah. That's all I could get. And I'm like, there's other parents wandering around the hallways going, where's the poster? Where? And I turned to the one dad. I'm like, yeah, I'm looking for it too. This is ridiculous. So we did get some sort of a picture, but it is just like a one weekend thing. AMC doesn't really care. The workers don't care.
Well, movie theaters are kind of on the brink of extinction collapse anyway. So
yeah.
It was packed. It was packed today with lots of people on a Sunday. So
I went last night and it was sold out like the whole day. I had to get a 10 o'clock showing. And at 10 o'clock, there was maybe 20 other people in the theater. It was dead.
Oh, okay.
The one that I went to. But I did have to go all the way out east. It was like a half an hour away from my house. All the ones by me were sold out.
The theater was not at 3:15 on a Sunday was a good amount of people, but it was not full. It was not full. There was a few empty seats even around me. So, but so anyway, John, how about before we even talk about the movie, John, you do you recall going and seeing it? Did you see it in the theater?
Yeah, absolutely.
John was smoking and drinking during the movie.
He was driving a car.
Yeah. John was out of the theater for bringing alcohol.
He drove himself and his 3 girlfriends.
John was 29 when he first saw it. So
yeah, I was 29. No, I was
working at the movie theater.
I was 12 years old when it came out, and my mom came and checked me out of school the day it premiered.
Oh, nice!
And took me to the theater, and took me and my brother, and we went to see Return of the Jedi in the theater. So that was pretty awesome. She was always doing stuff like that. She was the best mom.
You can't remember that. I mean,
John, I got to interrupt you.
There's no
There
way you
is
can remember
no
that.
way as
100%
12
he
years
remembers
old
it.
you could remember
At 12
that.
years old, he remembers it. At
No
four, super excited to see the movie. There's no way.
Well, listen.
You never saw any Star Wars your whole life, and all of a sudden you're so excited to watch Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
No. That's,
Not even close.
what do you mean never saw any Star Wars? I watched.
When did you see it? When you were 1?
Oh
I
my-
mean, Shane.
Do you believe this guy?
4.
Shane was like this. He was being rocked as a baby.
Oh my
Here,
God.
Shane,
I
here.
watched
Here's a new
Star
hope.
Wars. I watched Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back on a loop at my house.
That's impossible.
We had a VCR. I had them both on VHS, and I watched them daily.
Charles, you didn't see the video of Shane running around the house going, "Bouch, bouch, 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 bouch,
Shane.
bouch, bouch, bouch."
Not only will I believe it, I can't believe it.
I saw them. I saw those two movies more times than you can count before you even spoke a word.
Most likely. I have no clue to what age I was when I first saw it. I couldn't tell you.
I had them both on tape, and I watched them. Oh my God, so many times. I know the movies so well. 40 whatever years later, from how many times I watched them as a kid, like they're ingrained in my brain. I watched them so much.
Well, see, I didn't see the first two at all. I saw them,
What?
I didn't see the first two when I was a kid. We didn't go to the movies until I was like 11 years old. But
So you went
actually 12 years old. We went to see Tron. Was my first movie that we went to see.
So you saw
And then
Jedi before you saw
82.
Empire?
Yeah.
Wow.
But I read all the storybooks and stuff like that.
Mm.
Star Wars. We had the Star Wars storybook and the Empire Strikes Back storybook, so I was familiar with the characters. I knew all the characters. I knew the storyline and everything. The thing that disappointed me the most about Star Wars is there was no Biggs Darklighter because he's in the storybook.
Mm. Yeah,
But
and he
he's
was
part
cut
of the
out,
movie.
cut out of the movie. Yeah.
You okay, Brendan?
We live in memories over here.
I knew the storylines, I knew the movies so well that I remember, it was the continuation of the story that I knew from watching so many times. The one thing I remember being around that age at being super confused by is, and I had parents who didn't know Star Wars
or Bausch?
No,
That's
no.
what he was really confused.
Mommy,
then-
That was the major confusion.
mommy, is it Bouch or Bouch?
All that
Now-
all that I
now-
remember from Return of the Jedi was that she was even mentioned was he's holding a thermal detonator.
when we all watch stuff now with our kids, we're probably all like, mental patients explaining every little intricacy to them. That's what I do. And they know so much about the movies. Back then, you were on your own. Your parents didn't know anything. They weren't going to like help you understand the storyline. I remember seeing Return of the Jedi and being not understanding how there is still a Death Star. I'm like, this Death Star was completely blown up. And it looks like it's damaged. Like it looks like most of it survived. And there was nobody to explain to me that it was the second Death Star. I didn't get that.
Well,
So there was like years.
If you read the scroll, it tells you
He was Brandon, 4. That was 4.
The scroll.
Yeah, well, you remember it. You obviously were reading at that
I
time.
couldn't read. So I remember being kind of blown away by that. Like it didn't make sense. And there was a couple other things that I didn't understand because, I wasn't old enough to figure it out. But
all right. So now we can transition to when we first saw it in the theaters, which was back in the 90s.
Yeah. What year was that?
97.
Yeah.
Okay.
Around 97.
It was the 20th year anniversary.
I got a story about that too.
So
Me too.
what do you guys think about? So funny story about that one is that when I got to see it in the theater, they were handing out Power of the Force 2 Luke Jedi Knight figures that was pretty neat.
Same here with the brown vest,
With the brown vest and the little
the
the
hologram
logo
thing.
on the side. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was pretty neat seeing that. But with the new releases of the movies, the re-releases, they came out with the special edition and the additional scenes that were Some of them were already
A pile of garbage.
filmed beforehand. So what are your guys' feelings on those?
I don't like them.
The special edition versions.
It belongs in Mando season 3. A big pile of garbage.
Yes. Have you guys seen the untainted version of it at all?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course.
You guys have? Okay.
Yeah.
I had the original VHS from
Yeah.
whatever CBS or
CBS, yeah.
So I remember, like, back in the day, like when I saw it in '97, I remember sleeping out the night before to get the movie tickets when they go on sale. So I was out the night before waiting for them to go on sale at like 6 a.m, whatever it was. That I remember.
I don't have a VHS. I don't have a VCR to play this.
What's a VCR?
To go along with what I just said, having watched it, a number of times and a million times on VHS, I remember thinking as a teenager when it came out, I was like college age. So 97, I was like a freshman in college. I remember thinking it was kind of cool that they were doing something different with it because I had seen it so many times. Now, when you look back on it, like as a Star Wars fan and purist, I prefer the originals, of course. But at the time, I wasn't bothered by it. It was like, oh, I'm going to go see it in the theater, and apparently there's some new stuff. I'm interested to see what the new stuff is. That's kind of what I remember.
Yeah, I remember I didn't wait for the tickets. My stepbrother actually went and got us tickets back before you could, this is 97, so you couldn't really do it online.
You couldn't go online and pre-order tickets. Like you had to.
Yeah.
I remember standing online.
Stand in line.
And
I remember standing in line for hours for Phantom Menace.
I slept out like the whole night before. I went there at 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
and you stay there all night long for the tickets to go on sale in the morning.
Yeah. Well, my stepbrother went to the theater, and he tells this story. It's hilarious. He's standing like 5 people back from the line from the booth, and there's a guy up there. He gets his bag full of pennies to buy 2 tickets, and I think the tickets were like $12 a piece or something like that at the time. So he has this huge bag of pennies, and he puts it on the counter, and the lady says, "We can't accept unrolled pennies." And he said, "I just want everyone in this line to know that this theater no longer accepts American currency." So,
what is wrong with people?
I thought that's the perfect Star Wars nerd.
At what point did this guy think it was acceptable to actually do that? What a loser.
Jackass.
Somebody that does that is just asking for a fight.
Exactly.
Supposedly that guy saw Jedi when he was 4, and he remembers that his mom threw down pennies when he first went.
Yeah, he was going to go to the bookstore, and she brought pennies, and it turned out it was for the movie theater.
You know what's funny? Yeah. You guys are talking about, before online, all that kind of stuff. 2015 for the what's the new one? The first one, the episode
Force Awakens.
The Garbage Awakens.
Yeah, I remember waiting in line for that one too. Not overnight, but I think I remember waiting at least half a day. Just
I bought my tickets.
Maybe I was waiting for good seats or a theater. I remember waiting in line for that.
I think you were just trying to get away from your family. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I bought my tickets like 2 weeks in advance online.
Yeah,
What were you waiting in line
for? I think you could buy tickets, but I think the seats, we were waiting in line for good seats.
No,
because you couldn't reserve. There wasn't like this thing of reserving seats at that point.
Yes, there was.
You were probably
maybe
waiting
not for your theater.
You were waiting for the big popcorn jug that they handed out with popcorn.
That's probably so. Yeah, the 5-gallon popcorn jug challenge.
Yeah. It's like Charles's
does
water
that have
jug.
A handle?
It's Charles's water jug, but filled with popcorn.
Does it have a handle on it?
Yeah.
I saw. This is a sidebar, but I saw all 4 of the new. Well, I saw Rogue One and the 3 new movies. I saw them all on IMAX. So those theaters, you definitely can pick the seats ahead of time. So
yeah, for those, I ended up doing that. I wised up and chose a different theater.
Yeah, like I drove specifically to the one theater that has the authentic IMAX screen, like legit separate IMAX theater. So that was really fun. So 97. Remind me, guys, what was the release of those 3 movies like? Were they in rapid succession? Was it over a couple of months? I don't recall.
I think weren't they like a couple weeks apart
It
or
was
something?
yeah.
Yeah.
So A New Hope came out first. I want to say it was 2 weeks. I think I want to say it was 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then Empire came out. It was 2 weeks, and then Jedi came out, and it was 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Could be wrong.
They were all
I
were
remember
all
seeing
advertised.
them 4
Do
or
what?
5 times each.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It was just like I need to go see it again.
Those
See,
are the
I've
movie
never seen it
stubs
on.
that I saved.
Yeah,
Right.
We
I've
saw
never
Jedi.
seen it on a big screen before, so I was like
Mhm.
so interested in seeing it. I think I saw it a bunch of times like that.
We saw Jedi in the theater at least 3 times in '83.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's got a large-ish or a large enough screen in their house these days. Flat screens, and we have these movies on in our house. We've got kids
Oh,
too.
I mean, it's Disney Plus. It's on. It's so easy to
Yeah.
put it on.
So
I
easy.
mean, I have a 70-inch
Slap it right
screen, and
up.
it's on the TV all the time. Today at the movie theater, I was like wide-eyed, looking for things that I didn't, necessarily notice before. Because as many times I've
found
seen it,
I found a bunch of stuff. I was like, I've never seen that before.
There's one thing that I saw that I've never seen before either.
What's
What's
that?
that?
The guy from Phantom Menace, Sebulus, the guy who was in the
Sebulba?
Sebulba, whatever his name is. Yeah,
Yes.
he was in the background, and I'm looking, and I go,
Yeah, he was.
I go, why does he
Palace, right?
Yeah, I
Walking
go,
by.
why does he look so familiar?
I noticed him too.
So
Yeah.
I'm like, really? I'm like, is he in this? And then just today, browsing on the group, someone posted the picture, and everyone was like, yeah, he was in it. And I go, oh my god! I go, that's exactly what I saw.
Was he in the
was
special
he in it in
edition, or was he in
'97?
the original?
Oh, I'm talking about the one I saw last night.
Yeah, but was he in the original, or is that something they added?
Oh, I have no idea.
Curious. I'll have to. I'm trying to think about what things I noticed today. It's not coming to my brain, but like I was, chatting with my son who was next to me. We were pointing stuff out to each other, and there was a couple of things where I was like, "Oh my god, I never noticed that before."
I now
realized. Go ahead.
I was gonna say now that like who Yak Face is and stuff because of the figure.
Yeah.
He kind of stood out a little bit more. So like right when Jabba got killed, and everyone was kind of like running around, he was actually on the screen, like a full screen for like a few seconds.
Yeah.
Kind of like this or whatever. And I'm like, oh, that's Yak Face.
Yeah, and one thing I noticed today was when they first cut to Jabba's palace, like the actual, throne room, he's on the screen before anybody.
Mhm.
Yak Face is like the first. It's kind of like up close and like this, like you have to like know what you're looking at, but he's right there to start the part of the movie.
I noticed that Return of the Jedi is probably one of the movies that I have not seen as many times as the other two.
Mm-hmm.
So there's always certain things like,
Same here.
certain things with the bunker, that whole bunker scene. There's a few parts of it where I was just like, well, I don't think I remember seeing this before. But yeah, there's always a couple of things in the movie that I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. I never remember seeing that. But Sebulba, that was one of them. And the one that I saw recently, I mean, not recent, but in the last few years, was Omar Bunk in the background. Seeing him walking around. I didn't remember him the first time I saw it either.
When the gate first closed and
Yeah, you see
C-3PO
him.
walked in. Yeah.
I don't ever remember paying attention to that ever. And until we had an episode of this show with Omar Bunk on it. And I thought it was just from the trailer from Book of Boba Fett. That's where we're talking about it from, it's from that trailer. And I just thought it was a new thing, and then I found out it's, Power of the Force 2. So it's been around in some way. And all of a sudden I'm watching like recently with my son. Takes up the whole screen.
Yeah, he's right in the background, the whole screen.
The droids go into Jabba's palace and there's a giant spider machine walking. And I'm like, how did I never notice that before?
I was wondering if that was the eyeball, because I remember when I was watching it, like if that was the eyeball that stuck out the door.
On the door, yeah.
So
that's interesting. Did you guys ever notice the blob that's stuck to the ceiling, like to the above and to the left of Jabba, and it's got a big giant like snake tongue thing sticking out?
No.
It's like this round. It looks like Play-Doh, like a round, like if you threw a big wad of Play-Doh at the wall and it's stuck, and then there's this long, like gross looking like appendage that sticks out like 6 or 8 feet.
I noticed that, I think, in the movie theater a couple days ago.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, what is that?
And you know why I even knew that it was something? Because my son and I went through all of the Jabba's palace creatures recently, and we found a website. I think I sent you guys the link. There's a website where it lists ones that you don't even heard of them before, and that's an actual creature with a name. It was crazy, but I saw that today in the theater. But there's a lot to pick apart in that scene.
I was noticing when the Emperor got off his shuttle.
Mm-hmm.
And you were looking at all the guards that were lined up. There was a couple of guards that were lined up, and I'm like, they should have made a figure of that one. They should have made a figure of this one, because they had like one was like wearing like a dark blue navy outfit.
Those are all the dignitaries. No,
because
there's like 6 or so.
Yeah, they made those figures. They're all garbage.
Right when he walks out and he's like walking down like the platform, and they just show like kind of like a huge scene of all of them standing up, lined up, whatever.
The Blues have like the Trojan, kind of like the Trojan warrior.
Well, that's a Senate. That's a Senate guard.
No,
maybe Magna Guards.
One had like a navy blue outfit, and there was like 20 of them, and then there was a light gray suits. Guys with this weird hat on.
Oh, you mean like in the squadrons?
Yeah,
like lined up. Oh, I'll have to look for that.
Lined up, and I'm like, they could have made figures of both those guys, and it would have been good army builders.
Instead, they made IG-88, who doesn't talk and is like just pulling a lever for 5 seconds on screen. Yeah. So what else? So the movie, the movie is kind of slow in the middle. And that's like highlighted when you're there with a young kid. You get into the Yoda scene. The Yoda scene is kind of slow for little ones when he goes back to Dagobah, and then you get into some of the scenes with Vader and the Emperor. That's stuff is kind of slow, but then it speeds up when you get to the last 40 minutes of the movie with all of the Ewoks and everything. So as soon as they land on Endor with the speeder bikes, you start to get some excitement.
I dozed a few times, I'm not going to lie, because when you see them singing in Jabba's palace and like they change the song, and they have like all like these new characters, I'm not interested in that whatsoever. I don't care about the new species of animals that are there.
Yeah.
And then at the end with the Ewoks, when they change like the ending and stuff, I'm like, don't care.
Yeah, I think that's what I did not like about the special editions, all the liberties they took to change.
It is my least favorite of the special editions is Return of the Jedi.
100%. Yeah. And like seeing Hayden Christensen as Vader, to be honest with you, it really makes me mad. I don't like that. I understand why they did it, but I don't like it.
Yeah.
Because if they did it to him, why didn't they make Ewan McGregor the Obi-Wan then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
So
it makes no sense.
Stuff like that, it just like kind of like pisses me off.
But that wasn't an original 97. That wasn't in the 97 version.
No, because Anakin. I mean, that Anakin was from.
They've done it again. They retooled it again.
So they redid it again.
Yeah, you had just the old man. It was just the old man that was there.
Yeah, what's his name?
Sebastian Shaw.
I mean, the logic there is that Sebastian Shaw was on the screen for 60 seconds, and Alan, was it McGinnis? Alan Guinness?
Alec McGinnis.
Alec Guinness.
Alec Guinness was, on the screen for, a whole movie.
I like Guinness.
But that Anakin, that version of Anakin is from episode 3. So yeah, they did that way later.
Because even the figure on the Power of the Force Anakin that's worth a lot of money, it's the old man. It's Sebastian, whatever his name is. So like that's the one I'm used to seeing. Is that I don't want to see Hayden Christensen. I could care less about him.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about this before, but you guys know that story about David Prowse and Sebastian Shaw, the switch out there. David Prowse was the person inside the Vader costume, and of course James Earl Jones is the voice. So, first he doesn't get to do the voice. I don't know if that was ever planned or not planned. As far as he knew, but finally David Prowse is going to get his face on screen when they take the helmet off, and the director went behind his back and said, no, his face doesn't really work for the scene, something along those lines, and hired Sebastian Shaw to be in the movie for 90 seconds or something like that. And David Prowse never got his face on the screen, and he was upset for the rest of his life about that. He was just chapped.
David Prowse was kind of screwed out of everything. Out of the out of the movie, even when it came to like royalties and stuff like that, he was really screwed.
Yeah. And I think he made a stink about it at the time, and that put him on the outs with George Lucas and Lucas.
And that made it worse.
And it made it worse because I think he went for most of the rest of his life not being invited to any Star Wars events.
Yeah, he wasn't.
While all the rest of the cast was there. I mean, listen,
he made it to all the celebrations that were official functions.
Did he?
Well, those were much later, though. Celebration only started, less than 10 years ago.
No, there was Celebration 1 or 2 was early 2000s, so like 20 years ago.
I want to say that there's some kind of documentary though of him talking about it, and he was basically talks about how he wasn't invited to a lot of functions and stuff like that.
Yeah, he was definitely
exactly.
They had a bad relationship after, and he was supposed to be the one. He wanted to use his voice, obviously.
Yeah,
because there is some footage of him speaking through the mask or whatever, but they went with James Earl Jones instead, obviously, and that kind of ticked him off. And then, like you guys are saying, something happened at the end there. I don't know if the face thing kind of put him over the edge, but him and Lucas weren't seeing eye to eye and stuff. So,
and say what you want about the difference of an actor who has a voiceover or a voice actor compared to a on-screen actor. I know there's some difference there, but when you're talking about David Prowse, you're talking about one of the stars of the movie. One of the actors who was one of the lead characters of 3 movies. Who's bigger than Darth Vader? Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader. I mean, that's pretty much your two stars of the trilogy right there. Darth Vader's considered one of the best villains of all time, in movie history. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of a shame, it's kind of a shame that there was some falling out there, but, it's good to hear you say that he made it to some official functions and got to enjoy that. And I know he did go around to shows and sign a lot and stuff.
Brandon knows that because if you have an event, Brandon will attend. So Brandon was there with David Prowse at the same event.
That is
And
correct.
I'm sure that's why any autograph that David Prowse has, it says David Prowse is Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what else, guys, from Brandon, how was it with your son in the theater? Did he enjoy it? What was his reaction?
He was very excited about going because he knows what Star Wars is. And he has a bunch of the toys. He took his Darth Vader figure with him. We got some pictures by the poster. He's super excited the whole time. Wanted to sit there and eat popcorn. His movie started fine. He was good through about 2/3 of it, and then the Yoda scene, I think he started to fade a little bit and get a little antsy, and then the battle scenes, he was a little more, looking at that, but he just wanted to see Darth Vader the whole time, and didn't care for Luke and Yoda or some of the other scenes in there, the battle scenes and the Ewoks. And he liked the Ewoks too, but he really, wanted to see Darth Vader. But he enjoyed it, made it through the majority of the movie, which I was surprised about.
So did he get to see the big Vader, 10, 15 minutes towards the end?
Yeah, so he got to see all that.
So a question, is this his first movie he's ever seen, or he's been to the movies before?
No, I've taken him to the movies before. He saw The Rise of Skywalker.
Never been.
He saw The Rise of Skywalker when that came out because I wanted him to see like a premiere of a movie, of a Star Wars movie. It was more for me than it was for him. That was a tough movie. I had to stand up with him and carry him and all that.
And that's dark and it was a little bit scary.
Yeah, Rise of Skywalker. That one was a little rough. I remember that. But his first movie they ever took him to was the 40th anniversary of. Chris knows this. 40th anniversary. Alien.
Did you really?
Yeah. And he was a baby.
Oh my God, I was just kidding.
He was a baby and he saw some of it, but it didn't scare him. He was just like, oh, look.
He's too young to
Yeah, he's just like, and my wife's like, are you seriously gonna take him? I was like, yeah. I'm gonna take him to see Alien.
Takes him to a rated R movie.
And he wasn't scared. He was just watching the Alien. You expect him to like get freaked out, but he was fine. He was just like, oh.
Was it Alien or Aliens?
Alien.
Yeah, okay.
Is he 4 or is he 5?
He's 4 now, but he was, just a baby when we took him to see Alien, and that was
I wanted to bring
That's
Grayson.
pretty funny.
You know, he's 3. He's never been to a movie theater before, and I was like, do I really want to bring him for the first time ever to see Jedi? And then after 20 minutes, he's going to be, it's too dark and carrying on. I'm like, I can't do that to myself for his first time, because if he didn't like it, it ruined my time.
Well, I mean, you could take it's out for a week or so, or however long. You could take him again to.
Well, now that I saw it, I would go to take him. So if he doesn't last, it's not.
Now that you
take him during the day when he's, give him some treats. Take him during the day and
treats.
And
here, doggy.
No, like, you know what I mean. Like, I didn't want to say I don't know if candy. Give him some sugar and keep.
Yeah. Now that you saw it the first night and took a nap, now you can.
So he's 3. So through Shane's logic, he will remember this forever.
Yeah.
Brandon's son's going to remember it. Well, not everybody's the same, but I remember it. I took my daughter is 8 now. I took her to. She was like 1 year old when Force Awakens came out. I took her to Last Jedi, Rogue One, and Rise of Skywalker. And I was smart about it. I went and saw the movie myself, on release night, Thursday night. And then I took her like during the day on Saturday each time. So that was enjoyable. But this is my son's first Star Wars movie in the movie theater, and it's his favorite. So that was a nice memory to make.
We have a movie theater near us. It's like a cinema, like arts. And they have like The Godfather, Star Wars. They play all like old movies all the time. So I think I brought my son 2 years ago.
Okay.
I think he was like 3. I brought him last year, and I'll bring him again this year. But, they have it like randomly. They may have it in like September, like Star Wars is playing for a weekend or something.
I'd love if they did that around here, play old movies like that, because I just want to go back and see them, like Alien and Star Wars and all these great movies. I just want to go see them in the theater. So much better.
It's like $5 a person, and I think a thing of popcorn is like $3. It's all like really cheap.
They actually constantly always play old movies, like different old movies. So you would see like Indiana Jones, you would see Alien. It's everything.
Yeah, Drew was 4 when we went to the theater the first time to see Episode 1.
Does he remember it?
So, yeah, he does.
Oh, Charles!
I think we need to have Drew on the show though to actually talk for himself. So.
You guys don't understand like the human brain. He remembers from what like he was told. So
and
like
it seems real.
If he's 6 or 7 and he's told, remember when you watched Star Wars, he'll remember that, and then 33 years later, when he's 40, he's like, oh yeah, when I was 4, I remember that time when I was in a movie. You don't really remember that. You remember when someone told you when you were 9 or 8 or 7.
Well, I'm shocked because I saw it when I was 15 in 1997. I don't remember one thing about it. I just remember sleeping out for the movie tickets. That's all I remember. But the actual movie, I have no clue.
Do you know why?
Zero idea.
I'm sitting back and I'm not saying anything. I don't remember.
Me neither.
Remember at all.
15 years old, and I can't remember. And this guy knows his life story from when he's 4.
Well, so let's.
I remember seeing the new special edition and kind of wondering about the band scene, and I was just like,
We need to have a psychologist / like a brain, like an expert on.
I remember opening the Millennium Falcon for Christmas, which would have been the following Christmas. So I would have been 5 and a half. I remember because we moved when I was just before I started first grade, we moved. So I remember I have tons of memories from our old house where I was 4 going on 5, 4 and 5, basically. I remember, where I would play in the yard with all my Star Wars figures. I remember walking around with the bandolier. I have tons of memories from around that time of my life. So I don't know what you're talking about.
I guess I have Alzheimer's because I don't remember anything.
Listen, I have better memory of those years than I do of high school and middle school.
I remember one vision when I was younger having chickenpox and I was hallucinating. That's pretty much about it.
I mean, I remember Easter when I was, we lived in Wisconsin. So I was probably 5 years old.
You were in Wisconsin at one point?
Yeah. My parents moved around a lot when I was little. But we were in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Breaking news.
We were in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and for Easter, I got the Lone Ranger and silver in my Easter basket.
Hi ho.
Those 12-inch figures, you know. Yeah. No, you know.
Way before me.
It was a win and whiff one time. You don't even remember that.
No wonder why. I don't think I was paying attention to that one.
Probably not.
Chris's head was buried for that one.
But yeah, I got the Lone Ranger and silver for Easter one year. Yeah, I remember that very specifically. And I was James was born in Kenosha. We didn't live there very long, and he was born in '74, so I would have been 4 or 5.
Yeah, I don't even understand. I get what Charles is trying to say, but it's just not true because
I'm not like
those same years is when I got all the He-Man figures for birthdays and Christmas. 4 and 5, I had like all these toys that we're talking about that we love. Transformers were those years.
Is there a chance you remember it? There is, but there's no way for you to prove it. There also can be someone showed you a photo. They told you the story when you were 6 or 7, and you're not going to know exactly when someone told you that story about when you were 4. Like it could be real.
That's more for like when you're 2 and 3, maybe.
I think what Charles is trying to say is that you may remember a vision of sitting in the theater watching it, but to remember all that detail and like step by step, that's like for me, that's just too crazy. That's too much.
Well,
like,
there's some detail there, but
vision that's 1 second long when I was like 6. That's about it.
There's some detail there, but it's not a huge full story. It's a memory of my parents taking me by myself, telling me bookstore, turned out movie. I was excited. That's basically what the story is. But it's a fun, all right, it's a fun memory.
I think we should get some therapy going on. I know there's a few collectors that might need that too. So
yeah. Anything else? Return of the Jedi?
Well, I was waiting to see if my brother would call back, and he hasn't called back. And I was going to see if Drew called back, but
we're going to do a call-in.
Yeah, call-in show.
Yeah, do call in. But
well, it was fun. I literally, just came back a couple of hours ago from the movie theater, so it's a fresh experience. My son was very excited that he got to see a Star Wars movie. That's his first movie in the movie theater. That's the memory we made today. My daughter had a good time there, and I'm glad you guys got to get out and see it. Charles, you're going to go see it next week, you said, and John, any interest?
No, I don't really have time to go to the theater right now.
So busy.
I really don't.
So busy.
Guy is so busy.
So busy.
John says, "Who cares?"
Yeah.
I've already seen it a billion times. I mean, I've seen it in the theater,
Sometimes
times,
sometimes he's so busy, he's on scaffolding 30 feet above the air.
Texting us.
An extension ladder.
It look like I can speak to you guys right now. And there's a photo of like
he has the time to do that and to say that, but he hasn't the time to answer the one question, yes or no.
Yeah.
He's busy filming somebody else's house.
Do you realize I'm on a 37-foot ladder hanging on
I
one
never
foot?
say that. I just said, hey, I can't talk about this right now. I'm hanging off the side of it.
Instead of just not talking about it, he explains to us why he can't talk about it.
And that story takes a lot longer than just answering a simple question.
John, what episode number is this week? Do you guys understand? Oh, I love our conversations.
I don't have time to go to the theater.
I'm going to attempt to take my son this week where, I'm home every day with him. He has school Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so maybe like Tuesday or Thursday.
Yeah, take him to a matinee. As long as he lasts, he lasts. Don't, just be happy with whatever it is. And the great thing is the first half an hour is fun, lots of creatures, and you guys will have fun, and he'll have a good time seeing it on a giant screen. All right, guys. So 40th anniversary Return of the Jedi. We've kind of made it through over the last 5 years of 3, 40th anniversary. So it's been fun to see, Hasbro release a bunch of collectibles and stuff for each of the movies as they've gone by. I don't have it up here, but have you guys gotten anything at all, Brandon? This is kind of up your alley. Have you gotten anything like 40th anniversary Return of the Jedi at all?
I'm waiting on the poster. That poster that's out or that's whatever. I'm waiting on that to,
of course, he is
populate, and then I'll try to pick that up.
populate.
I do like that poster. Yeah,
but I have the Empire Strikes Back one. That's why.
Okay.
The 40th anniversary of that one. No. There's some stuff at Celebration that was pretty neat. But I didn't go, obviously. But I don't know. You just look it up online. But there's some cool 40th anniversary, like shirts and jackets and stuff. But I've seen the figures, the Black Series figures for sale all over the place, and nothing I really want there. But
I saw some in Target last week. I saw the Leia in person. I had actually already ordered it, so I think I have it downstairs in a box. It just got here today, I think. But I ordered some toys for my son for his birthday. His birthday's Star Wars Day, so we have like a fun week here. The only thing I got for myself is there was a 2-pack of pint glasses, Return of the Jedi pint glasses that were like a 40th exclusive at Target. So if anybody if anybody that's watching would like those, go look for those quick. They were like $11.99 for 2 nice pint glasses. Like that's a pretty decent deal. And
I looked that up.
We've got the Emperor on one side, like the Emperor, and I think some Royal Guards and stuff. And then it's got the Return of the Jedi logo on the back. And then the other one was I think Luke on it. I haven't used that one yet with the other Return of the Jedi logo. So those are cool to have. It was an easy pickup. All right, guys. Anything else? We're just about to wrap up here. 40th anniversary. It was fun to get out to the theater and see the movie. Even though it seems kind of ridiculous that you see it at home all the time, but
not that it makes a difference by the time this airs. But if you haven't seen it yet, the last day that they're showing it is May 4th.
May the 4th, right?
Okay.
I just switched Brandon because I thought he was going to hold something up and show us, so I was going to put him on.
I'm looking for those glasses online.
Yeah, I wish they're right downstairs. I should have grabbed them.
Let us
and brought
hold
them
you
up
up,
this,
Brandon. If
well,
we're just filming a show. If you want to go buy something,
Shane is explaining to me about the investment in garbage, so I have to look it up.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of 5 Idiots Talking Toys. It was fun to chat about a 40-year-old movie that we got to see in the movie theater and relive some memories that we don't really remember. So thanks for hanging out and appreciate you subscribing to the channel, like this video, and comment below how you like the movie in the movie theater and what.
Let it go, Brandon. Let it go.
What collectibles you may have picked up related to the anniversary. We'll see you next time on Four Idiots Talking Toys.
What?
I keep saying 40th.
It could be
5 Idiots Talking Toys. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, ladies and gentlemen. Bye.